Bledsoe was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So 38-year-old, then California resident, now Florida man, and former model John Strand posted numerous false statements about the 2020 election on Twitter. This was in the lead up to the Capitol attack. And on December 1st of 2020, Strand wrote in part, quote, and in all caps, by the way, "This is war." So Strand traveled to DC with his girlfriend, Dr. Simone Gold. If that name sounds familiar, it's because she's infamously, or was at least, the head of America's Frontline Doctors, that group with the voodoo spouting lady, the woman who made YouTube videos about her belief that women get fibroid tumors from having sex with demons while they're sleeping, or some crazy shit like that. I mean, that's apparently allowed on YouTube, but you know, God forbid I make a video about Q-loons and bamboo ballots. Anyway, the prosecutor says that by the time Strand and Gold reached the Capitol, it was already a chaotic, violent mess. It was just a horrible scene. There were flashbang grenades going off. There was pepper spray in the air. Capitol alarms were blaring. And they say that Strand and Gold were present and just several feet away from people who were busting in windows. They were attacking police with flagpoles and other various items. Well, this just did not bother them, apparently, because Strand made his way to the front of the crowd. They made their way to the East Rotunda doors, and right in front of Strand, an officer was grabbed and pulled down into the mob. In fact, the video evidence shows Gold was standing directly behind this officer as he was being violently attacked, and Strand was standing directly behind her. The sentencing memo says that the others in the crowd helped the officer to his feet, but Strand and Gold totally ignored it. They used this attack as an opportunity to get closer to the doors, and so they just walked right by. Seconds later, the doors were breached, and Strand and Gold were some of the first people to make it inside at that entrance. They went directly to the House chamber, and once again, Strand maneuvered to the front of the crowd. He was directly in front of a handful of officers who were guarding the chamber doors. And this was while members of Congress were still huddling on the House floor. They were still hiding and couldn't get out yet. So the mob, including Strand, surged forward. They overran a small group of police officers that were standing guard. One sergeant said that his head struck a statue because of the rush of the crowd. Members of this crowd that were using flagpoles to smash in the windows to the House chamber doors. So he and Gold refused orders to leave. The police in this area ordered everyone to get out and leave the area. They weren't the only ones. Everybody in the mob ignored the police, but the police sergeant told investigators that he thought that Strand and Gold couldn't speak English. He said they were so unresponsive to the police orders, he just assumed that they weren't fluent in English. Obviously, not true. They both speak perfect English. Sometime later, the two of them moved to Statuary Hall, and that's where Gold tried to give a speech the first time about COVID and vaccine mandates. The police stopped her, and so then she and Strand moved to another area. She tried to give the speech a second time. Well, after almost an hour inside the Capitol, Strand and Gold exited, and Strand posted a selfie on Twitter along with a bunch of election denier, hatred BS that started off with, quote, "I am incredibly proud." Keep that in mind as I get to the rest of this. So hours later, Strand texted his brother, and he said that he made history, and he explained, quote, "I don't think the U.S. Capitol has been stormed and breached like that, and it caused Pence to delay the certification, so that's very significant." Strand also texted friends, and he said things like, quote, "I was with the first dozen people to breach. We stormed the Capitol." So Strand was arrested on January 18th of 2021, and he was charged with obstructing an official proceeding, entering a restricted building or grounds, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, and parading or demonstrating in a capitol. Strand refused a plea deal. He opted for a jury trial. On a website he set up, Strand said that he refused to bear false witness, yet he supports Trump. Yeah, the guy who bears false witness every day. Anyway, at the trial, Strand tried to convince the jury that he never intended to enter the Capitol. He's one of these ones that's, oh, I was pushed in, I was forced in. Total BS. He also said he had no idea that they were certifying the votes that day. And he claimed that he was just there as security for his girlfriend and to support her speech. The video and written evidence show a completely different story. So Strand was found guilty on all counts, and he was facing up to 20 years in prison, 3 years of probation, and $250,000 in fines. The government, however, requested a sentence of 78 months in prison, 3 years of probation, and $2,000 in restitution, also a $50,000 fine. U.S. District Judge Christopher Cooper presided over Strand's case, and at the sentencing hearing, he told Strand that he was trying to cash in on his, quote, 49 minutes of infamy, because Strand, as typical, has been fundraising, and he's raised more than $17,000. As usual, we also have a closet socialist on our hands, guys, because while he has been bilking his followers for these so-called legal fees, he's been using a public defender. Cost him nothing. He also, by the way, lives rent-free. He lives with gold in a multi-million-dollar home in Florida that she purchased. But these are the types of people. They support the, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, self-reliance, meritocracy. I mean, yeah, that party. So anyway, Judge Cooper also gave Strand some grief for his lack of remorse. He told Strand, in fact, that this factored into his sentencing decision very heavily. And the judge was aware of all of his social media statements, his public statements, his media appearances, his website. So Cooper told Strand, quote, "It seems to me that you want to be perceived as a martyr, the face of the January 6 defendants. I think you want to cultivate that and profit from that." Judge Cooper added, quote, "If you don't think you did anything wrong, you're likely to do it again." In the end, Strand was sentenced to 32 months in prison, 3 years of probation, $2,000 in restitution, and a $10,000 fine. So that didn't go as I expected, I'll admit it. Cooper is usually a weak judge, so I expected a slap on the wrist. I thought a year, if that. And this guy's not going to do well in prison. I think Rolling Stone magazine referred to him as the Zoolander of the insurrection, which is one of my favorite descriptions of all time of these insurrectionists. So anyway, guys, if I hear any more, I will let you know. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please donate if you possibly can. Love you all. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon.